Today we're reviewing the new game and early release Hardspace Shipbreakers, and we're starting right now.
Each day he steps into the yard to earn his wages working hard. I pray to the stars and heaven above to return my daddy to those he loves. If there comes a time when he and death meet, bless the next cutter that takes his seat.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Madness from Planet Madness TV. Today we're doing a review on the new title from Blackbird Interactive that was just opened up for early release. If you like this review, be sure to go ahead and hit that like button. While you're at it, go ahead and hit the subscribe and notification button also. Really helps out the channel and it's greatly appreciated. So Hardspace Shipbreakers is a new title coming from Blackbird Interactive. You may remember them from Homeworld Deserts of Karak, which was a real-time strategy game. Homeworld is listed as very positive on Steam and it has a 9 out of 10 from PC Gamer. Blackbird Interactive also has announced in August 2019 that they are beginning development on Homeworld 3 as a direct sequel to Homeworld 2, which was released in 2003, only, 16 years later. Hardspace Shipbreakers was officially released on June 16, 2020 in early release, and it's a space salvage simulator. First, let's talk about the story. I played the game mostly in career mode, and well, Lynx, the in-game corporation that hires you, is, well, let's just say the cake is a lie. The Lynx Corporation hiring paperwork basically requires putting yourself into $1 billion of debt right out of the gate. In their defense, I can only imagine getting someone set up for space living isn't cheap. I mean, really? Consider if you were moving to a new job, but you had to hire SpaceX to be your movers. Yeah, kind of like that. The contract you sign has some of the old-time favorites on it also. Things like guaranteeing you aren't a member of a workers' union, or basically signing away your voting rights. It kind of gave me the feeling that Lynx Corporation may not have my best interests at heart. And then there's the fine print that Lynx can basically clone me as many times as they want, with no limits or restrictions. And anytime I die and need to be cloned from an on-the-job death, well, add that to my tab also. By the way, there's only a 0.02% chance that the cloning could go horribly wrong, also in the fine print. And if I happen to be lucky enough to hit that small percent and permanently die, well, the contract covers that also. All debts go to my next of kin. Good luck with that billion of debt, kids. Seems we have our work cut out for us. There seems to be some backstory involved in the game that makes me wonder just what else BBI may have in store. There are data drives that can be found floating around some of the ships, and the data drives contain messages, some in voice tape format, others in email with attached pictures, that give some kind of surrounding story elements. One element suggests that the Lynx Corporation also is in the business of catching asteroids and slowly lowering them to an area on Mars called the Plains. Now, by slowly, I mean kind of like a tank shell hitting the side of an aircraft carrier type of slow. After the asteroid hits, the Mars colonists are contracted to mine the asteroid. So, could that be a future expansion of the game? Only time will tell what BBI ultimately has up their sleeve. For now, though, I'm just a guy trying to make a buck, working an honest day's work, and not die in the process. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the gameplay. Upon entering the game, we have a choice to go through some training or skip it entirely. If you want to have the most fun, then like me, just skip it. Okay, well, I did go through a little bit of training the first time I went around, but then I wiped out my saved career and I started over. And at that point, I just skipped it. I'm pretty sure I may have missed a few lessons in the training though. Lessons like how not to have a nuclear reactor explode in my face. But that's no biggie, right? I mean, nothing's better than on-the-job training. The gameplay itself is pretty fun. The controls take a bit of getting used to moving around in zero gravity, but after a while it becomes a pretty natural feeling. The grapple hook is also something that takes a little bit of getting used to. Whipping an item towards a furnace or towards the processor takes a little finesse, but with practice over time you get better at it. Overall, the controls are well put together and the learning curve isn't that bad. Each ship type has a different layout, and even within the layouts there are different categories of ships. Some are passenger ships, others are cargo ships. Some of them have fuel lines that need to be turned off and some don't. Some have outer hulls and again others don't. So it's just a matter of taking your time, exploring each of the hull types and getting used to where the cuts need to be made in order to get it all apart. If you're playing career mode, another thing you'll have to contend with is what is worth it to salvage and what isn't. Each workday in the game, which is between 10 to 15 minutes game time at my level, costs you around $500,000 in debt. Things like tool rental, habitat rent, oxygen. Yes, you have to pay for your own oxygen supplies. That's not exactly an item I'll be looking to remove from my budget anytime soon. So over time, you're going to start to have to figure out what is worth it to salvage and what isn't. If you spend a full day salvaging, but you fail to make the $500,000 back for that day's rent, well, further in debt you go. So it becomes a game of profit versus time. Ultimately, you're trying to get yourself out of debt, and that's the main focus of the game. Now on to a little bit about the sound. The game's music is a rootsy, Americana, acoustic-y, folksy kind of vibe. Combine that with some synth soundtrack style, and it's a beautiful blend of two very unique genres of music, and it really works very well within the context of the game. The sounds of cutting metal and grappling things through space are also very natural feeling. I mean, let's face it, if Star Wars has taught us anything, it's that all the physics majors are wrong and there's absolutely sound in space, right? As an additional element for the senses, you can actually upgrade your suit to be able to better hear the outside environment, with a little bit of Lynx AI added input, of course. The graphics are beautiful and the scenes are pretty breathtaking. I had to take a moment and fly down to the barge and just take a long look at the Earth in all its majesty from the view on high. The laser cutting looks accurate, and even the metal pieces will start glowing hot shortly after a cut is made. Overall, I'd say the graphics are pretty well done. BBI took the time to add in the small nuances that really sell the feeling of being a floating demolition man. So far, I'm pretty addicted. I definitely want to keep pushing to larger vessels to see if I can get more profit out of these bigger ships. So far, I've seen some cutters, the term being used to refer to players, getting upwards of 8 million in a single day shift. That's a significant process for a day's work. Ultimately, though, the replayability all depends on how many new ship designs BBI can push out. As long as they keep pushing out new ship designs, I'll keep coming back to see how I can take them apart. So far, the game has been pretty great. The sound and music are fantastic, the gameplay is fun, and the story elements keep me coming back to see if there is more to the story than meets the eye. I definitely rate this game an 8 out of 10. It's still in early access, and there are some bugs here and there to be ironed out, but most have only been cosmetic and quality of life improvements and not serious game crashing bugs. I'll certainly be a cutter for a long time moving forward, and this right now is my go-to game for just relaxing in a single player game. Thanks for watching this review of Hardspace Shipbreakers. If you want to discuss some of the details of it, you can find me on Twitch on Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find the link to my Twitch below in the description. Also, leave a comment on your thoughts of the game. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to turn on notifications so you don't miss my next drop on YouTube. Again, it really helps out the channel, and I truly appreciate it. This is Madness, signing off for now.